Okay, guys and girls, this is Nick here with another wood gas stove report kind of thing. Just wanted to share some discoveries with you. I'm experimenting with wood pellets because I know they're uniform, and I can just see how well it's going to work with the stoves. This is my main one. I tried an experiment of filling this one, which contains, on the inside, it's one tin Lyle's Golden Syrup, and the outside is one Waitrose Espresso coffee tin, one inside the other. It fitted very nicely, so it needed very little machining. As usual, a mesh of holes at the bottom, plus a ring of holes on the lower parts of the wall of the inner tin, and a ring of holes at the top there. Alright, so the idea is, of course, that the flame burning stuff in there heats up the inner tin, creates convection, air spews out of these holes, keeps the ignition going, and that's where you get the wood gas reaction, a smoke burning reaction. Put 100 grams worth of fuel in this tin, and from the moment of ignition it burns with a flame for 15 minutes. Put the same weight, 100 grams, into this one, which has a smaller inner tin, which is the type of tin you know, your standard food tin, the kind of thing your curries or baked beans would come in, you know what I mean, with only 4 air holes at the top. It's being held in place by just a jam jar tin that I cut a massive hole in the top, and it's held in place with pressure with a coat hanger, and it's in a Greek or a Turkish coffee can. Same weight would burn for 25 minutes. It's got a smaller opening, smaller diameter top, and the flames, of course, weren't quite as big, so it wasn't quite as much of a useful burn, but it burned for 25 minutes. So if I had a smaller saucepan, I could probably get more beneficial stuff from a stove like this. I reasoned that the burn time is inversely dependent upon the diameter of the tin you use, the inner tin. And so I decided to experiment further. Now, one YouTuber had come up with the idea of a one-walled gasifier. And so I took the smallest food tin size I happen to have, which is this one, and it's a Tesco's Value Sliced Carrots tin, which is even smaller than the food tin in the middle of this gasifier here. And I filled that again with the 100 grams of wood pellets, worked out where the height was, about a centimeter or so above. I started drilling the ring of holes that you see at the top here. Okay, 8 of them, because I thought slightly more holes. That one only had 4 holes at the top to let the air in. This one's got 8 to try and increase flame stability. I hadn't drilled these holes around the base or near the base at that time, and I had a fair mesh of holes at the bottom. Shoved my 100 grams worth of stuff in there to act as support for that tin. I just placed it upon that inside there, primarily because there's holes in the bottom of that tin, which means that this was sitting on a mesh basically, so there could be airflow from underneath. Used barbecue lighting fluid to set it all going, and timed it. Total burn time was 43 minutes from the moment of ignition. However, the flame was very, very low indeed. In fact, it just looked like a plasma effect in the bottom there. It was pathetic. Well, that's when it was bad. Obviously, it had erratic height. When I'm using any of these wood gas stoves with wood pellets, there seems to be a bit of like a graph. The flame height starts there, and it gradually slowly increases, and it reaches a peak, and then it drops off very suddenly, and then stops over time. With this small stove, I had the same effect, but the peak, when it happened, went on for much longer, and so therefore provided basically more usable or potentially useful heat. But during the burning experiment, the gases and smokes went out, and I had to take my cigarette lighter and reignite the gases 3 times during the 43-minute period. That's when I realized that there wasn't enough air coming through, so I then drilled the ring of holes around the bottom, on the wall, but around the bottom of this can, and added another 2 holes on the underside, and tried the whole thing again. Same array, 100 grams of wood pellets inside there, lighter gel or fluid on the top, set fire to that. From moment of ignition onwards, it took a total of 40 minutes to burn out. So that was quite a positive experiment, and it didn't need to be the smoke did not need to be reignited to get the flame. So it was a very positive experiment. Obviously, you know, we still got a small flame base, smallish flame height. So I'd have to have a lower pot stand if I was to use this, and instead of using a regular kitchen saucepan, which I can do on this gasifier stove, I would probably need to use a cooking pot that had a smaller base and was vertical, basically, in order to try and get the maximum out of the heat. But I've definitely increased the efficiency of combustion. Possible uses for this single-walled gasifier stove: to warm your hands after a long hike, generate some nice flame because it looks pretty. What else? I've probably got enough faith in the flame height and temperature to be able to, let's say, cook a couple of eggs, frying them, not boiling them, frying them. So it's still useful, and yes, you could warm up some pre-cooked food with it. So if I was to keep that in there, obviously, like 100 grams is more financially efficient if you're buying wood pellets, and if you're scavenging for wood, it's less work scavenging for wood if you only get like 100 grams worth. So I just wanted to share that with you. Small seems to be relatively beautiful when playing with wood gasifiers, but if you're fussing yourself about how to make your first gasifier, just take a fucking tin and drill some holes in it. You know, it was an okay burn time for what it is. You know, a value fucking carrots tin with a ring of holes near the top, 8 of them, and about 8 holes near the bottom on the wall, and a mesh of holes on the underside, and that's all it is. If I was just using this outside, I think that would be difficult, because even with more holes drilled in it, the flame was still quite fragile and sensitive to the wind. So these 2-walled stoves are a lot better in that respect. But if you had like a brick or stone building that was well ventilated and had nothing that could catch fire, then there's no reason to say you shouldn't use a 1-wall gasifier like this, because when it reaches temperature, man, it can really go. You know, it's okay. Okay, that's about it for now. Get some cans, get your drill, make some holes, have some fun. Bye for now.